Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast Battle Report. Today, we have Corey and his Blood Angels facing off against my Dark Eldar Coven at the Computer Nook in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. The mission, Emperor's Will. We have one objective in the middle floor of that ruin, and one objective in the middle floor of this ruin. Deployment is big guns never tire, and night fighters in effect. So, deployment and model showcase. 2 Taloses at the front of the army. 5 warriors by that objective. An empty venom. Urien and his Rax in a raider. Grotesques, Rax, Witches, and a venom. Both Scourge units are deep striking. They have haywire blasters. And Corey, what do we have in your Blood Angel list?
Well, we're running 2 Assault Marine squads with jetpacks. Each unit has melta gun, well, 2 melta guns, and an attached priest with a power fist and a jetpack. Behind that, we got 2 ball predators, twin like assault cannon, and heavy bolter side sponsons. And leading it is Mephiston.
Good old Mephiston. And in reserve?
In reserve, we have a squad stern guard with combi plasma guns and a drop pod with Corbulo attached.
Okay, that's 1,500 points. And Blood Angels have first turn. We'll be back after the battle commences. Stern Guard with Corbulo zoomed down, blowing up the witch unit. 6 witches died in the ensuing explosion, but they are not pinned and they are not running away. Both ball predators opened fire into this Talos, inflicting 1 wound. All the jump pack marines in Mephiston jumped up and decided not to run to stay out of the distance of the Talos pain engines. Now we're moving on to Dark Eldar, turn 1. Dark Eldar, turn 1. There was much reshuffling. Lots of shooting poison into Mephiston, dealt no wounds. 2 lances fired into the ball predators, dealing no pence. I moved around the Stern Guard, and Corbulo put 1 wound on Corbulo, killed 2 of the Stern Guard in combat. Right now the aberration is in a challenge. And that was a tight combat, with 2 wounds put on either side. Moving on to Blood Angel. Dark Eldar and Blood Angels turn to recap, because we're running out of time. The combat with Urien and Corbulo continues to be a slap fight, as saves are made on all sides. Surrounded this Blood Angel unit and charged it with Rax, and the Talos made a 10-inch charge. Mephiston is coming to reinforce after he took out the other Talos. Meanwhile, these warriors are getting quickly overwhelmed by these assault troops. We took 2 hull points off the ball predator and stopped it from shooting or moving this turn, as these 1 unit of Scourge came down, claiming line breaker position. We'll be back after this. Other unit of Scourge came down, took 2 hull points off of the predator. Finally, the haywires actually did something.
I think that might work out.
The Scourge took 2 casualties from a ball fire. The ball predator rolled 4 1s to wound him, and they fell back and rallied. They snapshot into Mephiston, didn't do anything. Other Talos and Rax took out the big unit of Assault Marines and the Priest, and now the Talos took out the other ball predator. The Rax are in the raider. There's warriors in that venom. That venom is empty. Urien finally took out the unit. They moved into that raider. The Witches got out of that raider, tried to charge Mephiston, but was short by 1 inch. And this big unit charged into the 3-man unit and blew it up. Killed it. They're just on the objective right now. Okay, we're moving on to turn 4. Stay tuned. Turn 4, recap. The Witches took casualty, but the 1 witch went to ground and saved the last wound. The 2 Grotesques charged into Mephiston, who ran in and blew up the raider last turn. The aberration challenged. Mephiston knocked out the aberration, but now he has to knock that guy out in his next turn, holding him in combat. Meanwhile, Urien and the Talos charged into this unit and have succeeded in bringing it down to 4 guys and the Priest. On this section, we blew up the other Predator. They just moved around, and I have succeeded in taking that objective with warriors. So now we're moving on to turn 5, and it's straight into combat. Turn 5. Scourge shuffled. We shot a lot at Mephiston. Did another wound. So he's down to 2 wounds now. The Scourge charged in and lost a member, but the Hectrix also charged in, challenged him, and the Scourge passed their morale test, so they held him up again. Urien and the Talos took out the final remnants of that unit and have now consolidated towards Mephiston. Now we're rolling to see if it goes on to turn 6. And it does. We'll be back after this. Turn 6. The Venoms finally took out Mephiston as he failed 2 out of 5 armor saves, taking his last 2 wounds. Victory to the Dark Eldar. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned for the Tactical Corner. Hello and welcome to another Tactical Corner. So, back to Sudbury we go, and this time against Corey and his Blood Angel army. He was running Mephiston, 2 units of fleshed out Assault Marines, and of course 2 Ball Predators with some support and drop pods. I deployed very conservatively with most of my mobile army out of range of his Ball Predators. Even though it was night fight, I didn't want to risk losing my mobility early on, but also putting the Talos and Warriors in a position to soak up firepower. His drop, turn 1, took out my Witch Raider. This was hampering to my mobility, but of course the Warrior Venoms, notably both Venoms, were left intact, and so was Urien's Pain Train, who ended up engaging and destroying them eventually. When Mephiston failed his charge against the Kronos in the middle of the table, that was a turning point in the game, allowing me to completely control that side of the board and eventually tie Mephiston down, and was able to wipe out the additional assault squad on the other side of the board on my objective while advancing on his. Now, of course, at the end of the game, all that was left was Mephiston running around, making every single save that he had to make, until finally a couple of poison shots took him out. And that was game. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This is Skari, out.